All right. Good morning. Happy Mobility Monday. It's a little bit early. I waited till a few people showed up because I know that you guys know that if I'm ready to go, I'm usually ready to go early. So let's grab the foam roller and we'll kind of wait for everybody else to show up. A lot of people show up later, time zones and life and whatnot. So let's go back to a little bit of the basics today. So let's just do a little check-in. We're coming into championship season. So if you are not a triathlon fan, I know you're here because you're a fan of endurance sports in general, because that's kind of my jam. So we're a few weeks out from Nice Men's Ironman World Championship. The first time it will be held outside of Kona, Hawaii. And we definitely have a few ECFIT athletes partaking in the festivities of Ironman Nice. But the other big races this weekend is 70.3 World Championships in Finland. And that is the biggest, that's pretty exciting. This weekend's PTO races and the Paris test event last week, massive success as my athletes qualified for the Olympic team. So I'm super stoked about that. And so are they. So it means that we can then go back to the basics. We don't have to keep pressing into high performance. And I want you to think about that concept of where are you in your training when you really think about it. Am I pressing into high performance? Am I maintaining my health and mobility so that I can wait to springboard into that next high level of performance? I think that definitely each decade that we age, you've got less per year. It's not that you're not going to have high performances, it's just that you'll have less per year. So from my perspective, I've just got so much change in my life this year. I've got so much change that I wanted to maintain my health, maintain my strength, improve my strength, physical strength, improve my golf game, but also just try to declutter my life so that next year I can really start chasing high performance again. So that doesn't change as we get older. So I hope it doesn't change for you either. So let's go back to basics, establish the foundation of great mobility and movement, and work on the lower leg just below the calf muscle. And we're just working around there. You can spend time here. If you want to spend time working on foam rolling while you're watching TV. I know there's a lot of people that I think, in my opinion, overdo the foam roller. But if you want to spend time with the foam roller, spend time on your lower leg. And just move around, improves blood flow, creates heat in the muscle. And we're going to talk about that glide and slide we've been working on every Monday as well. So we're working through the lower leg and just feeling that little bit of maybe spiciness is a word that I use to describe discomfort. Just keep changing legs and we call it windshield wiper. So you're just kind of turning to the outside of the calf muscle or the lower leg and then the inside and just kind of rolling it around. And if you feel any level of discomfort, which I've got a little bit of achiness, ironically, I did 2 small runs this weekend and played in a 2-day golf tournament. So that, for me, 3 key areas of mobility in the game of golf: ankles, hips, thoracic spine. So it's not surprising to me that my ankles and lower leg are a little bit tight. I played pretty well. I could have done better, but I played pretty well, which to me means that I was moving well. If you're moving well, you can swing the golf club better. And that's why I start my day with a little run, because that always warms up my whole body. Most golfers probably don't do that. All right, so we're just moving through that lower leg. All right, good morning, everybody. Let's just kind of officially start here, 6:45 Monday morning in Boulder, Colorado. It's going to be a beautiful, warm, sunny day here. Nothing too crazy, though. Not in the hundreds by any means, maybe low 90s, high 80s. That's your weather report here in Boulder. Okay, so let's get that foam roller on the right leg, just below the calf muscle, and we're going to work flossing. So we're pulling the toes, flexing the toes back, and we're going to start right at the toes. So I want you to move, flex, and extend the toes. Flex, crunch them under, and then extend. So we're starting the flossing all the way down at the toes. You need to be able to control those toes. Good? Okay, now let's extend that. Just relax the toes, and we're just going to flex and extend through the ankle. We'll do 10 of these. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're going to go inside and then outside. So inversion and eversion. So on inversion we drop the pinky toe, and then on eversion we elevate the pinky toe. So we're just flossing through the ankle. Make sure we have good control. And just kind of pay attention. Like I watch my toes like to kind of do their own thing as I do that. Probably not the best thing. We'll keep working on that. Just know you need full control of the feet. Cracking and popping. Yep. Inversion, eversion. All right, let's do the same thing on the other side. So the first thing we're going to do is on the left leg, windshield wiper through the lower part of the calf, not in the belly of the calf. You're not looking to cry and create discomfort and pain. Just foam roll. And if it hurts too much, go lower with the foam roller, more towards the ankle. Okay? Okay, we're going to flex and extend the toes. 2, 3. Should be able to do it on the count. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This was a big part of my ankle rehab. 10. If you have had any major insult with your lower body, whether it's a knee injury, an ankle injury, or even a hip injury, you want to be able to move your toes, guys. Just like that, okay? Next thing we want to do is flex and extend through the ankle. We're going to do 10 of these. 3, 4. Pull that foot as hard as you can towards the shin. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then inversion and eversion. Inversion, we drop the pinky toe. Eversion, we elevate the pinky toe. 3, 4, 5, 6. Last summer, this time I had a broken ankle. 7, 8. This year, right side, left side, definitely feel a little different. And I could probably do better and do more of this. And 10. All right, good. Let's be a little proactive, opening the front side of the hips. All right, so let's go anterior lateral. So we're going to go from a fully stacked position where the hips are stacked straight towards the sky there. And then we're going to take the top hip, the top foot, drop it forward just a little bit, and work anterior, the front side of the hip, and lateral. So we're not right down the middle. We're just working anterior lateral hip capsule. It's an area of kind of predictable tightness if you ride a bicycle or if you run. Okay, just working through that. And you don't have to go down into the belly of the muscle. Okay, let's hit the other side. We're getting a little bit of heat, a little bit of blood flow. Start with the hips stacked, drop the top hip down, and we're working through, we're kind of up by the hip bone. And we're just below it. So hip bone right there. Just below it, lateral. Not on the IT band, right in front of the IT band. Just working through that nice and easy. If I go down towards my quad, I definitely, the pain scale starts to go up a little bit. And it's something that you can choose. If it works for you, great, do it. It's not something I typically teach. I think a pain response elicits the opposite reaction usually. So some people it works for it, and they're like, I live to foam roll my quads. Oh, like I can get close in there. What I'd rather do for my quad is use the foam roller to heat it up, and then use the couch stretch. So let's go ahead and we can just use the foam roller. I don't have a couch right here. I could my typical go-to will be to put the foot up the wall, just like this. Might as well do it. Everybody, foot up the wall. If you have a couch, put your foot on the couch. And then we'll go into a half kneeling position and just come up straight and tall. Okay? So we're just, the reason it's called the couch stretch is because your back foot could fit up on the couch. I can use the wall pretty comfortably, and getting a hip cramp. Use the wall. From there, I've got good tension in that back quad. So we started with the foam roller, just using it like a massage tool, right? And then we're going to go right into the quad stretch, and then we can add to that, because we always want to acknowledge that the hips will function in relation to the rib cage and the space that's created between the rib cage and the hips. So you need core length, spinal decompression, and then we can work those internal muscles of respiration to really enhance that stretch as well, if we want. Today we're not going to do that. I really hadn't planned to do this one. So we're going to start with a little bit of quad stretch, but I want to just give you an alternative if you have been foam rolling your quads and you want to think about doing something other than that. Okay, so you use the foam roller, create a little bit of heat, get that quad warmed up, knee goes kind of close to the wall. Right here, I'm not your most flexible human, but I also am pretty healthy generally right now. Generally, I'm pretty healthy. So I'm about 10 inches from the wall with my knee. I don't think it's really an advantage if you can be 2 inches from the wall. So we don't need this massive knee flexion. Okay, you can see it's pulling me. I'm going to come up into that nice big posture. I immediately get a good bit of tension through that back quad. And rather than really push into the stretch by going forward, I'm going to elevate and work through creating space between the ribs and the hips. I can also expand the rib cage here with a big inhale and reach. Inhale. Just the expansion of my rib cage, I get more tugging on the lat, which is going to pull into the hip. And just sit with that one more big breath. And let's gently come out of there. Okay, good job. So we don't do a lot of stretching on Mobility Monday. We move on Mobility Monday, and those are two different categories. It doesn't mean that stretching is bad. We do a lot of stretching. It's just not on Monday. I mean, we stretch on Monday, but not on the show. Okay, so next thing, let's just do a little bit of activation through the hips, doing a penguin. So hands down to the side, lift that right hip up, and then come back down. Lift that left hip up, heel is in the ground. We're just getting a little bit of opening here. Funny for me on my left side, when I go into a penguin on the left side, so right here, my hamstring immediately lights up. Push the heel into the ground, and we're just trying to create this relationship between the pelvis, the lower leg, making sure there's activity, because tight hip flexors, you know what they are? They're tight, they're not strong. So we just need to be able to move with subtleties. Okay, we're going to work the right side over and over again. Mobility. So we're going to lift into a right hip penguin, so the right butt is off the ground, and then the right leg is going to come all the way up, and then drag it low and bring it back. This is not way up here, okay? We don't want to fire the hip flexors. That will actually inhibit mobility through the spine. So right here, we're going to go right hip penguin. To keep that leg low, come all the way up, drag the leg low, 2, right hip penguin, 3, right hip penguin, drag the leg, 4, and then one more, right hip penguin, that's that little iliacus muscle, and then pull it straight up and back across. The low leg sweeper is one of our favorite exercises. We're going to hit the other side, 5 reps. Okay, left hip penguin. Let's go back just a little bit. Left hip penguin. Left hip comes up. Come on back. Start it with the penguin. 2. Penguin, 3. Penguin, 4. If it starts moving into one big motion, that's okay. Penguin, and 5. All right. Don't be afraid to do that movement, guys, every single day. I mentioned that little iliacus muscle. It's right inside of your hip bone, inside of the pelvis. It attaches that psoas muscle from the inside of the big lower leg muscle bone, the femur, and it runs inferior and it attaches to the pelvis via the iliacus. So the iliacus muscle, which is a very small one, we don't really hear much about it. I guess we could include it in the hip flexor group. Okay, so let's go into those adductors. You guys know I love talking about that. I will say also, watching PTO Singapore, Christian Blumenfeld, another amazing performance from him. He did not cramp. So that tells me more than anything, he and his team really assessed some nutritional issues that might have affected his muscle function. He's not weak. Weakness in a muscle typically does not cause cramping. It's usually sequencing in muscle function or nutrition that causes cramping or maybe tweaking muscles in performance. So we've got that knee driving way over that ankle, way over that toe, and just working from that half kneeling position. Same thing other side. So this is midnight. Take it out to 2.5 or 2:30. Right there, pull the ribs off the hips, and just a nice gentle knee drive. Keep the chest up nice and tall. 3, 4, 5. I think we did about 8 or 9 on the other side. 6. Get that knee. If you want to, you can pull the foot back so you get even more ankle mobility, knee mobility, hip mobility, all in the same time. Good. And good. All right. Next one, we're going to set something up on the wall. So if you have a yoga block, use it. If you don't, last week I was in a gym where there was no yoga blocks. I used a garbage can. So anything that's this long, about 12, 13 inches from the wall, we're going to go right up on the wall. My right side is on the wall right now. My left leg is 12 inches from the wall. What we're going to do is use that double arm relaxed position. All I want you to do is nose to wall. Double arm relax. We want to just hold that position. Okay? Let's do the other side. Left side is up against the wall. Right side. By holding the yoga block, we are activating the inner thigh, even if it's a very lower level, which ensures that we're getting this big thoracic spine mobility. Okay, if you don't have a wall, don't stress out, it's fine. You're just going to be able to recognize that when your knees, you won't get the activation to the midline. So this is where the yoga block is. That is going in, right? So if you had to do it without a wall, what we're looking for is your ability to just gently push in as you rotate across and back. Let's go in and out of that 5 times. So every time I turn to the left, my left knee is going to move ever so slightly to the right. All right? So a little ringing motion. Ready? Here we go. 1. Keep those elbows back out of eyesight. You shouldn't be able to see your elbows. 2. 3. 4. And 1 more. And 5. Good. So as we run, We want this beautiful carriage of your upper body. We're in rotation. And so this is going to definitely help that. As you ride your bike, you want to be able to be free in your upper body. You don't want it to be locked and rigid. All right, same thing other side. Double arm relax, rotate, and back. Rotate. If you're focusing on some breath work, let's inhale here. One more. Now, some of you might be able to see your elbows. We want to just work on that double arm relaxed position and go ahead and pull those elbows back so we can just have this beautiful openness on the front side of the body. Gives your organs within your chest, your lungs, your heart more room to move. Okay, so let's set an anchor down low. An anchor down low means that your outside of your feet are squared up. And if you can tell from my mat, and you can tell from me if you know me, I am a fan of foundation training, and I use it every single day with 100% of my clients. There is no there's no piece of foundation training that is not perfect for the human body. All right? So, right here, feet are anchored, which brings my knees and hips into a little bit of internal rotation. Don't overdo that, okay? Just square up the outsides of the feet so they're parallel. From right there, we're going to push your hips back, put your thumbs on your bottom rib, pinkies on your hip bones. From right there, your hips are back about 3 or 4 inches. We're just going to push the hands to the front, hips to the back. Keep holding that position. I'll give you a little side view. You can see I'm not tipping, looking over a cliff that way. My hips are back. My hands provide a counterbalance. And from right there, stay in that position. This is a narrow founder. Pull the ribs off the hips. From right there, just hold the clavicles open, nice and strong with the fingertips. And we're going to anchor out. Push your heels out, and you're going to feel a glute activation. Push your heels out. Anchor out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come right back in and shake that out. We can get more mobility with an uptick of the nervous system for specific parts of the body. So when we anchor out, we're putting a tension into the external rotators of the hips, as well as the muscle that work in opposition to our adductors, the inner thigh muscles. So as we add intention to the outer part of the hip, the inner part of the thigh starts to gain confidence to give us length, all right? That's some of the secret stuff right there, which isn't really a big secret. All right, heels just slightly out, feet nice and parallel. Pull the ribs off the hips using the breath and just go into that narrow founder again. All 10 toes are on the ground. Push the heels out, anchor out. 5, 4, inhale. 3, as you're focusing on your breath, focus on breathing into your back. Push out. Push out. One more. And come right back out of that and shake out. So what I'm starting to notice is my left hip, as I anchor out, I'm pushing out. My right glute is totally functioning well. The left side function, I'm starting to feel the hamstrings elevate the neural drive when I'm anchoring out, which tells me more than anything, this side of my pelvis in decoupling might be stuck. I am very, very fortunate here in Boulder that I have a very good chiropractor, and just being proactive with my health and mobility, I may put him on my schedule for next week because that function is a little worrisome for me. I never suggest or recommend people, especially through my ability, because I don't actually see your body. You need to be careful when you choose a chiropractor. You want to have a relationship with your chiropractor, but you don't want to necessarily do this, come every week for 12 weeks. Be cautious of that because it can be expensive and not as effective as you might think. It might be really effective too, but make sure you go with a lot of recommendations. Okay, so knees nice and parallel, hands parallel as well. We're in that quadruped position. We're going to tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin, and go into that big cat position. So from right here, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone, and then we're going to go into the cow position. Look up, tuck under, look up, tuck under, look up, tuck under, look up. Good, one more. Good. From that same position, find neutral pelvis. So we don't want to be the cat, we don't want to be the cow, we want to be right in the middle, super balanced. From here, we're going to take the right arm and just put it under the left. And we're going to be very dynamic in this movement. We're alternating sides. 2, you might feel a little tugging in your low back, that's fine. 3, don't ever exceed what you feel is responsible movement. 4, we're doing 10 total. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we're just going to stay in that quadruped position. 5 more cat and cows. Tuck under, extend, tuck under, 2, 3, 4, one more, and 5, and good. Stay in that nice balanced quadruped position. We're going to go right arm, 1, 2, that's left arm. Good. 3, don't force it. 4, one more, and 5, same thing other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, last one, and 5. All right, you guys, happy Mobility Monday. If you came early, thanks for joining me. I hope you have a great Monday. I've got a secret location, special location coming at you from next week. Next Monday, it's a secret, so you'll have to show up. Thanks again. Share this with your friends. I'd always love to build the channel. I've got a lot of love out there, so you know I don't need millions and millions of people, but I'd love to expand how many people we're helping through Mobility Monday. We're at 108 episodes now. I will keep showing up. I really appreciate that you do too. Aloha. Cheers.